what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy it. 247 had a great piece, kind of asking the question, is Joe Sloan a rising star? And, well, I think the answer would be, in Brian Kelly's mind, absolutely, right? Because let's look at just how wild the move that LSU made this last offseason was, Jake. I teased it as saying, potentially unprecedented. I don't know that I have ever seen a year in which Mike Denbrock, the standing OC, leads the best offense in the country, has a quarterback who wins the Heisman with the most statistically dominant season of any Heisman winner since 1973. And then in the offseason, the head coach says, hey, we want to give this guy a promotion. Would you be willing to share a title? And, at first I thought maybe Denbrock left of his own accord. I have it on pretty good authority that Denbrock was not happy with how things went down this offseason. And that he felt some type of way about him being approached in that way with all of a sudden, like, wait, you're telling me I just led the best offense of all time, and now you're saying you want to give this other guy co-OC title? Like, why would I do that? So and if you're Kelly and company, Denbrock's going to feel that way. So when you make this decision to bump up Sloan and then Hankton, like, you are betting on the young phenom over the old experienced guy. And it's, again, I don't know if it's going to pay off or not, but if you're asking me, is Joe Sloan a rising star, I would tell you it is unquestioned that Brian Kelly believes that he's a rising star.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. You look at the bowl game where he was the offensive coordinator, you had 492 total yards, 395 yards in the air, first time starting quarterbacking Garrett Nussmeier. And that's that's a nice audition for Joe Sloan and Hankton to go out there and do exactly what they did. But, yeah, I mean, we all kind of heard Joe Sloan's name and what he meant to not only this offense but to Jaden Daniels and where Jaden Daniels ended up, which is in New York City lifting the Heisman Trophy. And this is somebody that, before he got to LSU, he had an opportunity to potentially be a G5 head coach. So, he's only adding to his resume, and you talk to him, and he doesn't want to do that right now. He doesn't want to be that G5 head coach. He wants to be the offensive coordinator at a place like LSU, and I think, I mean, not just a rising star. I think he's kind of even passed that up.
Well, and I think that's, one of the reasons why you also make the move is because probably there's a lot of very loud whispers about him getting poached, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you're not going to give this guy a title? We will.
Yeah.
We'll make him OC. Right now. And so you kind of have to weigh these things. And then also, look, I think keeping Cortez Hankton is massive.
Yep.
I mean, look at the consistency that LSU receivers have achieved in the Hankton era, and I think it's only going to continue into this year. Also, look at the fall off from where Hankton left. What's one of the issues with Georgia right now? What was one of the issues last year? A lack of wide receiver development and just weapons on the outside. Could be the same again this season as well. So I think it's really a dual benefit of being able to give both of those guys titles. It's interesting you mentioned being a G5 head coach, Jake, because I do feel like the math has changed on that somewhat, where if I'm a football coach, what is actually more attractive? Because what does Sloan make? 1.5, 1.8? Somewhere around there? I'm not sure. I don't know off the top of my head, but it's over $1 million.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
So you're going to tell me I'm going to get over $1 million in the majority? I still get to do the actual football coaching? I don't have to go shake all the boosters' hands. I don't have to do the NIL fundraising. I got to recruit because, everybody does. But I don't have to do, if you go be a group of 5 head coach, you're not going to be able to really coach anymore. All of a sudden, you got to do all the CEO stuff. It's got to be pretty attractive to just say, okay, you know what? I'm pretty happy and I'm going to be content. Let me just actually coach the football, call the plays, and stay here for a while. And then maybe if I feel that itch, or if I feel like I'm outgrowing it or I want to step up, then do that in the future. But yeah, the math has definitely changed on that a bit.
Yeah, and Joe Sloan was last year the highest paid quarterback coach in the country at $600,000, but now he is making
1.3.
He is making $1 million. I see that him and Hankton are both going to be making over $1 million per year.
Okay, so maybe like 1.1.
Right, and you said it, and I'm glad you pointed that out. I mean, what Cortez Hankton brings to this offense as well, and when you have a situation, and we all know this, when you have a situation with Joe Sloan, with Hankton, they have to work well together, or that's not going to work out. And they have shown through them being here together. I mean, I see it all the time when I go across the Ponderosa, but they showed it in the bowl game as well. Like, that is a great combination. And then along with Brad Davis, like, you have to have that alignment if you want to kind of have it like like they're going to do the offense this year, where Hankton's going to have, some say. Like, he's going to have a voice in that room when it comes to coming up with the play design.
Well, he better, because again, Hankton's not going to be happy with just a title. Like, he needs agency in this offense. You still got to have a hierarchy where the play caller's the play caller at the end of the day, but you better make Hankton feel valued. I mean, as Emil points out in the chat, he says, boys, don't forget, Hankton was catching NFL interviews for OC gigs. So, yeah, like, you have two supremely talented guys there. And if you're going to accomplish your goals this year, we talked about it yesterday, a oxygen-starved SEC where there's a lot of teams that feel like this is their year to make the 12-team playoff. If you're going to break through that tier of Ole Miss, Mizzou, Tennessee, who else did we put in there? Am I missing anyone, or is that it?
You say Alabama?
Yeah, Alabama in there as well. We kind of put them maybe in like their own little middle portion.
I did
yesterday. You didn't do. I thought that's what we agreed on yesterday.
I've got Alabama there with Ole Miss, Missouri, LSU, Tennessee.
Okay,
like I got a huge lump right there. Now, I mean, you could maybe place them in different spots in that tier.
I have the Georgia, Texas. I have Alabama kind of in a gray area, and then I have those other
if I had any of those teams in the gray area, it would probably be Ole Miss more than Alabama for me.
Ooh, wow. Yeah. But anyway, very competitive SEC. If you're going to accomplish your goals and maybe make that playoff, Sloan and Hankton going to be massive.
And this staff was put together and given a lot of money, offense and defensively, right, to improve the X's and O's. Now more defense. I mean, the X's and O's were I think they were okay last year on offense. But, I mean, you give pay raises to Joe Sloan, a slight raise for Cortez Hankton as well. Like, he was set to make $950,000.
Yeah.
I mean, this year,
to give you an idea of how good of a wide receiver
and so
coach is.
He's going to make over $1 million, and so you've done that. But also, like, the money you spent on the defensive staff, and a lot of people are like, oh, you're not spending in NIL. Well, no, like, they still spent some, but they put their resources into this defensive staff because they saw what a poorly coached defense can look like in the SEC.
Yeah.
Right? You can have all the Jimmies and the Joes in the world that you want. You can have guys like Mason Smith who ended up being a second-round pick, and we were all surprised because of what the play looked like, but it was more probably in the coaching that he was receiving or the lack of coaching.
So the NFL is telling you.
The NFL is telling you this guy's still a second-round defensive tackle. And so they said, hey, we're going to put $10 million whatever dollars into the defensive staff, and that's where we are going, to try to create this foundation of getting back on track defensively.
So, look, again, is Joe Sloan a rising star? I would say unequivocally both him and Cortez Hankton are rising stars, but still have to go prove it. Still have to go prove they can reload that wide receiver room. They still have to prove that they can replace a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. And with a defense that should be improved, but still not the strength of this team, they still have to. The offense still has to prove that they can be the engine that can drive you to 10 wins and a 12-team playoff. Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.